Previously from this table, this proc tabulate result, we know that there are 4 rows with a missing value in admission date. And they also have 4 rows with the admission value in the discharge date. Okay. So the next question is naturally that we want to ask is that what are these missing values? Because for these missing values, there is no way that we can know their period of hospitalization. So unless it is really critical and we're going to do imputation to manipulate the data, most probably we will have to exclude these data. But first we have to identify where are these missing values, right? So we're going to say that the next is to find the rows with missing admin or discharge date. All right. So how to find that? And let's say that we're going to have a subset, which is that we're going to create a data set. And note that this is the first time we're going to touch how to create a data set. Let's say that we're going to have a data set called test1. And this data set is from a data set which is the raw hospital. Okay, so that's how it looks like. The first you're going to say data. This means you're going to have the target data. But it's kind of confusing, right? Look above that in the proc, when you say data, it means the source data. But here in the data step, if you say data, it means to create the target data set. This is kind of confusing, but if you put them together, I just want to let you know that in different statement, it serves for different purposes. Okay, anyway, so set this, but we don't want to have all of them. We only want to have those if the admin date is missing. So all the missing values, if it is a numeric value, the missing values will be a dot, right? So not only about that, we also want to have those that the discharge date is missing. All right, so now let's close it with a run. So what does that mean? That means that I'm going to create a data set. I want to have the rows from this raw hospital file, but I only want to have those into the target data set. I only want to have those missing for admin date or discharge date. Okay, so let's run this part and see what's going to happen. Run this part. So we have the data set, right? So the data set it contains 8 rows, and some of them are missing admin date and some of them are missing discharge date, right? So this is the data set. Okay, so we've created this test data set. So where is it? So remember earlier we've said that we can find the location of any of the data set by so find, or let's say check data set test1. So how to check that? Remember earlier we've talked about there's a proc called the proc datasets. and inside we're gonna use the statement content to look into it. All right. Okay, so let's run this part. So why I want to show you this data, because it's a special data. It is called I've run these codes, this block of codes, and the result is quite weird, because you see that I have the directory of this, but I cannot view the data set and the variable. So what happened? Let's check the log file, and it says there are 2 errors. So these are the errors. It says that contents and then the statement of data, then I put the data set name. It says syntax error. Alright, so it says that you should have something, in between. Like you should have, after this contents, you should have CentOS or data. Aha, so what I missed is that I should say data is test1, right? So I'm gonna run. So that shows that you should always go back and check the log file, right? So so I'm gonna run that again, and there we go. Now we can view the data set again. So this is for this test1 data. I didn't put any of the library here. I just say data test1, right? But you check the result, you can see that it says that this data set is within a library called work. So work is the default library created by SAS. Well, if you go to the libraries, you will see that the work library is always there. So in fact, every time you start SAS or SAS Studio or SAS Enterprise Guide, it will create a work directory for you. And inside, of course, you have this test1 file. So the difference between the work directory and the S directory is not only that we don't have to create this is automatically created by SAS, but also it is a temporary library, which means that all the data sets within this library, if you close SAS, all these data sets inside are gone. So, but those in this permanent library, those data sets there will be kept. So that's why it is called this work is called temporary library, and the S is called a permanent library. So these are the 2 different types of library. So be careful if you throw the data sets in this temporary library, then once you close the SAS program, the SAS application, the data is gone. Okay, so if you really want to save it, you should save that into the permanent data set. So where is this work directory? It is in a folder, a temporary folder created by the SAS program. So every time you start the SAS program, the SAS software, it is going to automatically create a folder, each time a different folder, and name that as the work library. So once you turn it, once you close the SAS application, then it's gonna delete all the files as well as the directory before closing. Okay, I'm gonna stop here.